Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Griffin. I just wanted to make this little Q&A video because I've gotten a couple questions on my Instagram and wanted to see if I could help. So, I'm sorry for the kind of unprofessional setup. I got my microphone here because my camera's microphone kind of sucks. And I thought I had a tripod around here, but apparently I don't. So, my camera is just on a stack of books right now. And so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully by the next time we can have a little bit better of a setup. So I thought I would just go through some of these questions and answer them for you as best I can. So yeah, let's get started. What is your workout split? My workout split has kind of changed since I started lifting. When I first started, I went through all of the people that I've looked up to on their Instagram page, and I went to, looked at different interviews that they had done and tried to kind of emulate their certain splits during the week. So when I first started, I did kind of heavy days and light days. So I did like a heavy chest and back, heavy legs, heavy shoulders and arms, but then did light chest and back, light legs, light shoulders and arms. And I did that for a little while, but I didn't really like going heavy, 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 light, 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 but I didn't really like to split the two up, if that makes sense. Sorry to not keep looking at the camera. I just feel weird looking into that big, abyss. I don't know. I kind of like looking around. So then I switched it up a little bit and did kind of it was like a 3 muscle group split, but it was like heavy chest, medium shoulders, light triceps, and I'll explain this. So heavy chest, I'll try to work my way up to a 1 rep max, kind of like a, I guess it's not a reverse drop set, but I would start out with like something I could do for 6 reps, then add some weight, try to get like 4, add some weight till I got up to 1. And then I would try to just do a couple sets of push, push, push for that 1, and then maybe drop back down a little bit. So I would do heavy chest, medium shoulders. That would be more in like the 8 to 12 rep range. And then light triceps, that would be like 15 to 20. And I would just focus on like the squeeze, the tempo, stuff like that. And so then it would be like heavy back, medium legs, light biceps. And then the next day it would switch. It would be like medium chest. See, it's so confusing. Like medium chest, light shoulders, heavy triceps. So does that make sense? So it'd be like heavy, medium, light, and then medium, light, heavy, then light, heavy, medium for those 3 groups. So it was like a 6-day split, alternate between 2 days, and then yeah, it was a clusterfuck. So I stopped doing that, and now my routine, I kind of teetered off the question. So my current routine is chest Monday, back Tuesday, legs Wednesday, shoulders Thursday, arms Friday. And for those, I usually do heavy compound movements. So that would be like usually within 6 to 10 reps for compound stuff. So for chest, like for presses, I usually try to stay heavy. But for isolated movements, such as like flies or like lateral raises, I usually stay within like maybe 8 to 15 reps. So those I like to focus more on the feel, the squeeze. There's a plane flying if you can hear that. The feel, the squeeze, and just the general like contraction. Whereas for compound movements, I just like to push with the weight, still focusing on the form, but just try to get as heavy as I can to build up my strength. So I have that 5-day split, and then on the weekends I like to do, I was watching this interview with Frank Zane the other day, And he said, I think it was Bob Paris that was talking to him about the human body. And when you have a small frame, like Frank did, and I think I have a pretty small frame, in order to give the illusion of looking bigger, you want to focus on the silhouette. So if I were to stand like with the sun at my back, what would you see that would make me look like a big man if you had no indication of my size, like standing in front of me? It would be the traps, the delts, the forearms, lats narrowing down to a small waist. It would be the outer quads and the calves. So on the weekends, I like to do like a weak point / silhouette training for my upper body and my lower body. Usually upper body Saturday, lower body Sunday. So for those I focus on for upper body, I focus on my upper chest, my traps, my shoulders, like just stuff to really get that curve, that hourglass. So yeah, that's what I've been doing recently. I just consider it more of like a weak point day, but I just like calling it silhouette because it sounds cool. And then I alternate abs and calves every day. So yeah, that is my current split. That took about 7 minutes, so sorry to take so long. The next question, what is the best supplement for gaining weight? Okay guys, when it comes to gaining weight, you don't really want to be doing it with supplements. And there really aren't, aside from mass gainers, there really aren't supplements to gain weight. And the only reason mass gainers make you gain weight is because they just have a lot of calories. So when it comes to gaining weight, you want to look up your total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE. That is your resting metabolic rate, which is the amount of calories your body burns during the day to remain in homeostasis, which is just like your metabolism, your blood flow, just keeping your body functions as they should be. So keeping your body as it should be is called homeostasis. And that is the amount of calories in order based on your gender, your age, your height, your activity level, and your weight to keep you at that current weight. So your resting metabolic rate plus whatever activity you do. So let's say you burn 300 calories. Your resting metabolic rate, excuse me, plus those 300 calories would be your total daily energy expenditure. So you want to find out your TDEE for you. There are online calculators to get a rough estimate. And so what I would say for you is once you get that rough estimate, eat at that amount for a couple weeks and notice what your weight does. If it goes up, then that's probably not your maintenance calories. If it goes down, you're not at maintenance either. If it stays relatively the same, that's your maintenance. So what you want to do to gain weight is find your maintenance and then eat above your maintenance. And that'll make you gain weight. However fast you want to do it, if you want to make it 500 over, 1,000 over, whatever you want. As long as you're eating above your maintenance, you'll gain weight. If you're eating below your maintenance, you'll lose weight. That's how it works. So what I've been doing to kind of gain leanly is just eating slightly above maintenance every month. Every month taking it a little bit higher in the calories. So I've only been doing this since last August. Before that, I was just eating whatever I wanted and just trying to like get big before I looked really at what nutrition and calories and stuff were and how they could help your body and reach your goals. So my maintenance for, I think I was like about 178 pounds in August was like maybe 2,700 calories. And I've slowly increased that. I'm about 3,200 right now, and that's put me at 190. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's what's kept me consistently gaining, but doing it the right way. I've never taken a supplement or anything to increase my weight. So yeah, I kind of ramble when I talk. I'm sorry. Hopefully I'll get better with that as these go on. Number 3, what is your diet like? How are you gaining weight but staying lean? So I just kind of explained that. Eat slightly above maintenance, and sometimes I kind of like to take a little bit of a pause. If I think I'm gaining weight too fast, I'll stay at those calories or maybe drop them down a little bit just to keep myself regulated, keep myself in check, and not do it too fast. What is your diet like? When I first started, I just tried to eat as much protein as I could. My camera stopped. Sorry about that. It's kind of shitty. I'll try to figure it out. So what was I saying? When I first started, I was just trying to get like a pound of body weight for a gram of protein. So I was trying to get to like 180 or so. So I would eat 180 grams of protein a day, and everything else, it would just be based on hunger. So I would just eat as much as I could when I was hungry. Now that I've actually started regulating and formulating out my nutrition and foods for the week, my diet is clean. I know there's a big debate between if it fits your macros and eating clean. I think there's a balance between both. I would have to say, like, if you want to get some cheats here and there, like during the week, if that's what you need, then go ahead and do that. But personally, I just don't think that eating like junk food all the time is going to be beneficial. Like, if you're spending time in the gym, if you're killing it in the gym, if you're spending money on supplements to help you increase your recovery and your performance in the gym, why would you reward that with like a shitty diet? And why would you just eat like junk all the time? The thing I will say, like, I do think that if it fits your macros will work to a point. I don't think that it'll get you to like a stage ready body, because you need to know about the glycemic index. You need to know how how certain carbohydrates and sugars will affect your insulin levels and your blood sugar, and how, I don't know, how to kind of balance that out with everything else. And I also think that clean foods just contain micronutrients and beneficial stuff to help you in your body. So yeah, that's a bit of bro science, but to be honest, that's what I've noticed the most. I like keeping it clean because I'm pretty cheap on a budget, and if I'm gonna pay for food, it's gonna be something that is gonna benefit me. So how my diet is I eat pretty lean meats. Like I said, I'm cheap, so it's mostly chicken, eggs, egg whites. I usually have a scoop away in a shake after I'm done with my workout. Greek yogurt. I'm trying to think if there's any other protein sources. Not that I know of. Sometimes if I get the big bucks, then I'll have like salmon or like steak or something. But I'm so poor. So other than that, it's mostly like vegetables. I eat a lot of sweet potatoes. Those are my favorite food. Broccoli, asparagus, mostly like green vegetables. I eat bananas in the morning usually. Oats, rice. That's about it. Like the basic bodybuilding diet. I do track my macros, and so I weigh everything out to get the exact amount that I need. Right now I have a split of 45 for carbs, 35 for protein, and 20 for fat. So yeah, I don't really know those exact numbers off the top of my head, but I weigh everything out to get exactly what I need. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say on that question. Number 4, how do you get such a wide back? So my back is pretty wide. I'm not going to turn around and show you, but you probably have seen it before because I just post that on Instagram. So my back is pretty wide in comparison to my waist size, and that is because Before I actually started training, I just had like a pull-up bar in my closet, and every time I would go into my room or in my closet, I would do as many pull-ups as I could. Every time I walked through the doorway, either going in or coming out, I would just do pull-ups. I always liked doing it as wide as I could because I could really feel like just that good burn in my lat. And after I never really played sports in high school or in school in general. I dabbled in soccer, but I wasn't really good at it. But something that I really loved before I started doing weight training was rock climbing. So after school, pretty much for 2 years straight, a friend of mine and I would go to the rock climbing gym around where I live, and I want to say maybe from 5 to 10 at night, we would just climb. And so that's basically just pull up after pull up after pull up. So for 5 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, we would just be climbing. And so that really, really built up my back. It's a shame it didn't really build up my forearms though, because they're still puny. So that really helped me develop a wide back, all that hanging, all that stretching. And then at the end of our climbing, we would usually go to what are called hangboards. I don't know if you've seen these before, but it's almost like a pull-up bar with varied grips. You have big round grips or like little finger holds. And so we would just go through each of the holds, doing as many pull-ups till failure, and just a bunch of sets of those to burn out. And so doing all that varied grip and all those different pull-ups and just suspending yourself from your back and pulling up, I got to where I could just like do the thing they do on Ninja Warrior and just pull and like jump basically with your hands. And so that really just helped me build up a powerful back. But what you can do in the gym, I would just say like a lot of pull down movements. So wide grip pull-ups where it's at. Between every exercise that I do just pull-ups in between sets. Wide grip pull-ups. Even if I can't even get up the bar, I just try to hold it and push and push and push and let go. And then try to get up again, and just, you want to do it until failure, like every time you do pull-ups. But I would also say weighted pull-ups are good. They kind of feel different than regular pull-ups though. But just always those pull-down movements are going to be helpful in building your back. So I like to do wide grip. Usually when I do wide grip pull-ups, I don't really do it for heaviness because I find that I use too much arms. So I usually do that for about 15 reps with drop sets. I do close grip ones too, and then straight arm pull downs. I'll make a video of that sometime. But I want to say what I think about when I do back movements is that you want to think about your hands not being used to pull the weight, because when you do that, you just use too much biceps. Is it too many or too much biceps? You want to just think about your back being what moves. Your back pulling everything down, not your arms, your back. So you want to think about almost like a lever or a hinge. Your elbow is that hinge, and your hands are the hooks that attach to the weight, but your back is the thing that pulls it. And it's hard because you can't see your back. See, when I'm training like arms, I can just like look at it. But when you work your back, it's hard to get that connection between your mind and your muscle. So just really focus on the feeling that you get and that mentality. Like I often find when I think about a certain muscle, I can directly work that muscle versus just pulling the weight around. Number 5, how do you keep a small waistline as you gain? I would say for that, I would say don't overfeed yourself. Like there's a debate between like eating small meals a day, whether or not that helps. Personally, I think it does, because I just like to eat until I'm good, like not until I'm full, just until I feel like I've been replenished. Alright, sorry about that. My memory card ran out of battery and I had to plug it into the computer. So I need to get better. Like I said, this is a learning process, and hopefully this will go smoother the more I do these. So what was that again? This is like 20 minutes later. I keep a small waistline. Like I said, don't overdo it. Don't try to put on too much weight too fast. If you go from like a 30-inch waist to like a 36-inch waist in a month, like you're doing something a little bit too strongly, a little bit too fast. Waistline is something that's genetic, but something that you can do to really keep from looking like a straw straight down. Like really just focus on your back and try to get those lats up to par to compete with your waist. Like Arnold said once that he like looked at himself naked in the mirror and saw that in order to balance the rest of his physique, he would need to have what was it, like 23-inch arms. So in order to balance to your physique, what size back would you need to work with your waist? So work on not only bringing your waist down, but also work on making your back bigger. Something else that has helped me that I want you to think about is so when you take yoga, when you do yoga, I almost said yogurt, got food on the mind. When you take yoga, you really want to think about taking your belly button and pushing it into your spine, like always drawing your belly button, your navel into your spine. And that is something that I always do when I'm walking, when I'm standing, sitting, especially when I'm training. So whenever I do something, when I squat or deadlift or bench or do something, I always like keep my waist like not pushed in, not tensed, but like just drawn in. Like I never like push out or anything like that. Like it's always just drawn in. You can't really see that well. So whenever I do a big movement or an explosive movement, I never like just or like push my stomach out. It always is tight and flexed. So I want to let my muscles do the work, not my just stomach. I guess that doesn't really make sense, but the mentality is like always keep it tight, drawn in, like activate your core for everything. Don't just like push everything out. Because if you think about it, if you're just binging on eating a lot at one time, and if you're always pushing out your stomach when you're lifting heavy weights, like what is your stomach naturally going to do? Expand. But if you're mindful of how your posture is and how your how your stomach is, make sure that it's always just tight in. Another thing you can try is vacuum poses. That is just pushing all your air out and sucking it in, sucking your stomach like under your rib cage. I usually do these a couple times a day, and I also do them at the end of my ab workouts. And just hold it for as long as you can. You can do them like on your hands and knees. You can do them like sitting up. You can do them standing. Just any way that you want to do it. Like I do it in the shower sometimes too, or when I'm brushing my teeth. Vacuums are a good way to keep your stomach tight and under control, and to keep your abs like constantly flexed and your waist drawn in. Next question is, what kind of supplements do you take? Now, this is something that I would like to address. Supplements are not going to be the like great divide between you and your dream physique. Supplements are there to increase your health, your recovery, your performance in the gym, but they're not going to do like one thing or another. I've had friends buy, like, you know those ads in the Men's Health magazines. I've had friends buy like $200 worth of fat burners and testosterone boosters, and that's only for like 30 days. So if you don't have your diet and your training right, like, you're wasting your money on supplements because you're not really going to notice anything, especially in a month. So the supplements that I take right now are just the basics. I take a multivitamin every day for everything, to fill in the gaps of everything that my diet does not cover. I take fish oil for joints and for, I don't really know off the top of my head right now what fish oil does, but yes, and that's just something that's widely used, so I use that too. I take vitamin D, which has helped clear up my skin, and has, to be honest, I won't say that it's helped my mood a lot too. It just makes me more peppy. I take creatine. There's some stigma about creatine. I'm not really sure why. People seem to think that creatine is like almost like a steroid, and that you'll just blow up and get like water weight and stuff. No, you will not. So, oh yeah, people think that you need to like cycle creatine too. I take 5 grams a day. Usually that's just like a tablespoon. What creatine does is just add volume to your muscles and help you recover and push a little bit harder. Creatine is found in meats and certain fish, I think, and just the concentration that you get from those foods is not usually enough to give what the supplement does. So that is something that I take. Let's see. I thought I took another thing. Oh, BCAAs. I usually put 30 grams in a gallon jug and just drink that throughout the day, every day. I usually bring that with me when I do my workouts and drink that in between sets, because BCAAs, your body produces some naturally, and the rest you get from food. So the ones that you produce naturally, I think, are called non-essential, and the ones that you get from food and supplements are essential. I might have those mixed up, but I know one of which is one and one of which is the other. And so BCAAs, amino acids, are just the building blocks of muscle. They help you recover. They help you keep your muscle from deteriorating. They're just very good to replenish and to keep you from getting fatigued. So you can get this from food. You can get this from protein powder, but I like having the aminos by themselves. So that is all that I take. Next question. How many sets and reps do you do? I explained reps a little bit before. I usually do lower reps for compound movements, higher reps for isolated, but I try to stay within the hypertrophy. Is it hypertrophy? Hypertrophy? I'm not sure the pronunciation. I always just say hypertrophy. I usually try to stay within that 8 to 12 rep range, going a little bit lower in reps for big weight or big movements, a little bit higher for isolated. I usually do, I want to say 20 to 30 sets, not including drop sets. For isolated movements, I usually do a drop set every set or a double drop set. For compound movements, since it's usually bigger weight, I usually do a drop set at the end of the exercise in general. So if I'm doing like a bench press or something, at the end of like my 5th or 6th set, I'll do a drop set. Usually for compound movements, I also do pyramids. So I'll start out doing like 15 reps. Let's just say it's like a squat, for example. I'll do like 15 reps with 135, bump it up to 185. Do 12 reps. Bump it up a little bit more. Do 10. Bump it up a little more. 8. And then I'll usually have like a set or two of 6 and then drop back down. This is a great way to get the volume in, but also the heavy weight. I'm a big fan of pyramids because you can just completely fatigue yourself, completely exhaust the muscle, and also drop sets are really helpful along with pyramids because I like to do them so that way I can, once I've done the heavy lifting, I can focus on the form and still feel that exhaustion, but I know that I can lift the weight. I know that I can keep going. So for me, the challenge is to just go through the whole range of motion, and you get a really good pump, really good blood flow to your body. Let's see. So I usually aim for 20 to 30 sets, not including drop sets. And sometimes if I feel like that's not enough, if I feel like I can keep going more, then I'll do more. But I try to stay the heaviest weight that I can with good form for that amount of sets. So next question is the last question. What is your ab training? So I have never really had very good abs. From having a low body fat for most of my life, from being an ectomorph, I've had like ab definition, but they haven't really been like a six-pack. It's just been like the lines. So for ab training, like I did the Ab Ripper X, I did P90X for a little while, but I don't know. I can do a lot of like body weight ab stuff pretty easily, and so I would just get bored rather than getting tired out with ab training. So I like to do, these days I've been doing like calisthenic stuff for my ab training. So levers where you hold yourself like straight out, L sits, or I do a lot of leg raises. I do like leg raises. But the thing for ab training is you don't just want to like push through it and just go fast. Sorry, I keep saying movie recording has stopped automatically. So you don't want to, you want to really just get that squeeze, that hold for your abs. So I usually like to go pretty slow, squeeze at the top, and do kind of a slow negative for abs. So for ab training, I like to do those things where you like act like you're walking upstairs when you're hanging. I like to do the windshield wipers, just things that really tax and engage the core. Like I can do 100 sit-ups probably and still not really feel very much. So I like to do things that are really hard but are really rewarding and will get me tired out and feeling it. I also like to do a lot of weighted stuff for abs. Cable crunches. I like to do get a decline bench and get like a plate and do a pullover combined with like a decline crunch. So I usually like to do like 5 sets of 20 with those. With leg raises, you can do them weighted. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I like to do like as many as I can from the front and then immediately twist to the side and do like oblique crunches on either side. And then I know there's like 1 or 2 other things. Oh, dragonflies, where you hold something behind you and you try to lift your whole torso up, not just your legs, but your whole torso. That really focuses on the upper abs. I like to do decline bench twists. I feel like there's one more thing that I'm missing. Alright, well I can't remember it. But I want to say that's it. So yeah, I like to keep it pretty simple. Hanging stuff, weighted stuff. I don't really do a lot of side weighted stuff because I don't really want to get my obliques to be like, I don't know, looking like love handles. So I usually do a lot of high rep body weight stuff for that. And like I said, when you do it hanging, you can really just hold. Oh, one more thing I like to do at the end of my abs sessions, I like to just hang on a pull-up bar and take my legs and almost imagine that you're like a grandfather clock. Take my legs and push them to one side and hold and feel in your intercostals and serratus that squeeze. And then go to the other side and don't swing, just hold lower, hold lower. And then usually at the end of my ab stuff, I will just squeeze and flex in the mirror and then do a vacuum and hold that. Do a couple sets in between of those, because I really think that posing and flexing and just having complete mastery over your muscles is a good way to just know what you're working and how you can work it more, if that makes sense. Like if I can feel my intercostals and serratus and if I can manipulate them to flex the way that I want, then I can focus on them when I'm training them and work them harder, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is my ab training. So that's all the questions we have for today. If you want to ask any more, then I would love it, because I'd like to make another video like this. So if you want to hit me up on Instagram or on YouTube and ask your questions, I will answer them. So thank you. Sorry this was kind of jumbled at some times, and sorry that it's a little rough production-wise, but we'll fix it. Anyway, see you around. Thanks for watching.